What if history could be edited? Imagine a world where the past is not fixed, where history is not something we discover, but something we revise. Not secretly, not gradually, but officially. In this world, history can be edited. At first, it is presented as a correction. Governments explain that history books contain errors, biases, outdated interpretations. New evidence emerges. Archives are reclassified. Perspectives evolve. Editing history, they say, is not manipulation. It is responsibility. A committee is formed. Its task is simple in theory, impossible in practice. Decide which version of the past is accurate enough to teach, to remember, to honor. The edits begin quietly. A paragraph here, a footnote there. Few people notice. But history is not just information. It is identity. When a sentence is removed from a textbook, something else disappears with it, context. When a name is erased, a story collapses. When an event is softened, its consequences fade. Victories are emphasized. Failures are reframed. Mistakes are explained away. No lies officially, just asterisk adjustments. In schools, children learn a cleaner past. Wars are shorter. Decisions are wiser. Leaders are more reasonable. There are fewer villains, fewer victims, fewer uncomfortable questions. Students memorize dates and outcomes, but not uncertainty. They learn asterisk what happened, not how it felt asterisk, or who paid the price. Curiosity survives, but it has limits. Teachers know where those limits are. Museums change next. Exhibits are redesigned. Plaques rewritten. Artifacts remain behind glass, but their stories are updated. A weapon once described as used in suppression becomes used in stabilization. A protest becomes a moment of disorder. Nothing is technically false, but something essential is missing. The moral weight. Supporters argue that this is progress. They say history has always been written by the powerful. At least now, it is transparent. They say dwelling on past trauma weakens national unity. They say societies cannot move forward while constantly reopening old wounds. And for some, it works. People feel prouder, more confident, less divided. The past becomes usable. But there is a problem history has always had. It refuses to stay in books. Memories survive outside official records. Stories pass through families, communities, whispered conversations. Veterans remember what textbooks do not mention. Survivors carry details no committee approved. Two versions of the past begin to coexist. One legal, one lived. Over time, the gap grows. When citizens point to personal memories that contradict official history, they are not accused of lying, only of being mistaken. Memory, they are told, is unreliable. Emotion distorts perception. Documents are more trustworthy than people, but documents are edited, and people know this. Then comes the next step. digital history, archives are centralized. Search results prioritize official sources. Algorithms flag unapproved narratives as misleading. The past becomes searchable, but only within approved boundaries. Access is not denied, it is guided. The illusion of openness remains. Internationally, the consequences are immediate. Nations disagree not only about politics, but about what already happened. Treaties reference events that one side now describes differently. Apologies are withdrawn. Responsibilities are disputed. History, once the basis for reconciliation, becomes a weapon. Each country edits itself into innocence. The most dangerous moment comes years later. A crisis emerges, political, economic, or social. Leaders invoke history to justify their actions. They cite past threats, past victories, past sacrifices, but the public cannot independently verify these references. The past has been curated too carefully, and when people cannot question history, they cannot question power. Yet resistance does not look like revolution. It looks like archives shared quietly, old books passed hand to hand, unedited footage preserved on forgotten drives. History becomes underground, not because it is forbidden, but because it is inconvenient. In the end, the greatest loss is not accuracy, it is humility. A society that edits its past edits out uncertainty, doubt, and responsibility. It forgets how often it was wrong, how fragile its progress was, how easily it failed others. And without that memory, it repeats patterns it no longer recognizes. Because history is not just a record of what happened, it is a warning. And when the past is edited to comfort the present, the future loses its guidance. The final irony is this: a world that can edit history believes it is in control, until reality reminds it that the past does not disappear when rewritten. It waits, in people, in consequences, in echoes, and sooner or later it returns, not as a lesson learned, but as a mistake repeated.